follow a healthy, balanced diet. Deep down inside, we know what is good and what is not good for us. But more or less oftenly, depending on individual, we choose to ignore the body and wise and think mind and do something else. We are all practicing yoga, and yoga is a wonderful changing force. We all feel that because of this practice, no matter what reason we have started, with time, little by little, yoga is going inside us, reaching even unknown to ourselves part of us and transform us for the best. It changes our perspective, our interest, our character. And as we get a wider and better knowledge of ourselves, we start to wonder about what we do, what we want, what we think about what we eat. Why do we need to eat? This is such a simple question, and the answer is the same. We eat because we need to provide energy to the body and to the mind. We eat to be alive. But why do we eat? Let's be honest, the answer is slightly different than the precedent answer. We eat sometimes for social reason, with friends or family, or for business reason, or sometimes we eat because we want to avoid sadness, stress, boredom, that is called emotional eating. And that is the source of unhealthy condition. Because when we don't listen to the body, when we give something when it doesn't need anything, or when we give something that is different than what it needs, we create imbalance in us and in our body, but in the mind as well. And as we feed imbalance, disease appears. But nature is generous, and as in many cases, we can find the solution to heal the conditions that we create, or to prevent it if we are lucky enough to avoid any apparent trouble yet. So we can find the solution to heal in food. This is also another well-known statement. Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food, which was said by Hippocrates, who was an ancient Greek physician of the age 6th century before Christ, who was considered one of the most outstanding figures in the history of medicine. He is also referred as the father of medicine. Science is today advanced as never before. We understand things our ancestors couldn't even imagine centuries ago. In the same time, we have the understanding and wisdom of old science like acupuncture, which observe patiently for centuries the effect of different food on the body. And we can take information from ancestral tradition and culture of civilization from all over the world. People have each their own habits in alimentation, which give precious information about adequate way of eating. Each society, each culture gave food a moral and a spiritual aspect. Each civilization, each language, each dialect has hundreds of proverbs and sayings, which remind us the importance of food in our life and the relationship between food and our physical, mental, and spiritual health. In this course, I will present you all these elements. Not everything, of course, that will be too much information and confuse you. Knowledge of food has an interest. Know how to act. Too much information will have the opposite effect, lost you in thinking about what you should do. Let's say this course is like a being. For every being, you need strong, deep roots, and something physical to let you manifest into the world. That will be the chapter about the matter, the analysis of food piece by piece, going in the different elements that constitute the matter. We look into energy, the substance of food. Then comes the mind, which will be the psychological and mental aspect of food. And finally, we get the symbolic and spiritual aspect of food. I'll speak also about food according to traditional Chinese medicine, and as you are yogi, from the point of view of Ayurveda, which is a traditional Indian medicine. And for this last chapter, I'll introduce you to different aspects of Ayurveda for you to understand how food is explained in this particular science. I'll deal also with particular diet, like raw food eating, vegan, vegetarian diet, and explain situation about certain type of food, like meat, milk, dairy products, and eggs. With all these particularities, you'll get a wider perspective of what food is and how it affects us. You'll be able to consider the affective, symbolic, spiritual implication of food, the fundamental bases which make possible a healthy and liberating diet, themselves which rest upon physiology, the analysis of food. You'll be able, on a more personal level, to understand your way of eating. All along the talks, you'll think about what you do, what you like, what you don't like. You'll see what makes you curious, what attracts you. Listen to this. All this course is to serve you, for you to improve. When my friend has asked me to give the talk, the original request was to talk about healthy food. This is what I will do, but I won't tell you what you should do. You only can decide what you should do. I will just give you the matter for you to decide. Use your own critical sense. Listen at your body, listen to your deep, wise mind. Be curious and experiment. I will also talk now about a controversial subject which needs to be clear for what will come next. I'm sure you all have already heard about organic agriculture and maybe also about fair trade. So let's clarify what are these. Organic food was the only option for thousands of years. However, nowadays, agriculture is industrial and intense. Totally oil dependent, which is used in chemical fabrication and to transport production from a place to another. This agriculture is also very costly in many senses. Moreover, chemicals, fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, fungicides exhaust and destroy the soil, kill precious microorganisms and nutrients which has been formed for thousands of years. For high rentability for the company who owns the seed, there is a tendency to grow just a few varieties instead of all the diversity which was present all over the world. As the company are international, they use as much as possible the same seed everywhere. This leads to a huge loss in biodiversity. Even more because for the need for more and more new land, as I said above, this way to cultivate is destroying the soil, leading to deforestation, massive extinction of animals and vegetal species. With this agriculture come also GMO, genetically modified organisms, which are the step further into controlling life. There is very few study of the effect of this GMO on health and environment. Most of this study done by the company who sells the GMO seed. Eating is necessary to life, but as we will see later on, it is fundamental to choose healthy food if you want to be yourself healthy. And isn't it even more fundamental that we care about the earth on which we live and which provides us everything? 6th century before Christ, Heraclitus said human health is a reflection of Earth's health. Food is life source, but we hear more and more about food scandal. How is that possible? So, when you choose organic, you choose health. You avoid all the chemicals that are sprayed on not organic food. You benefit from more nutrients, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and micronutrients than in commercially grown food because the soil is managed and nourished with sustainable practice by responsible standards. You enjoy a much better taste. Organically grown food generally tastes better because nourished, well-balanced soil produces healthy and strong plants. This is especially true with heirloom varieties, which are cultivated for taste over appearance. You avoid GMO because organically grown food cannot be genetically modified in any way. Choosing organic is the only way to be sure that food that has been genetically engineered stay out of your diet. You avoid hormones, antibiotics, and drugs in animal products. A majority of pesticide intake comes from meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and dairy products, because these foods are all high on the food chain. For instance, a large fish that eats a smaller fish that eats even smaller fish accumulate all the toxin of the chain, especially in fatty tissue. Cow, chicken, and pigs are fed animal parts, byproducts, fish meal, and grains that are heavily and collectively laden with toxins and chemicals. Antibiotics, drugs, and growth hormone are also directly passed into meat and dairy products. Tens of millions of pounds of antibiotics are used in the animal feed every year. Many scientists and experts warn that rampant use of antibiotics in animal feed, like penicillin and tetracycline, will breed an epidemic that medicine has no defense against, because it weakens the immune system. You help to preserve the ecosystem. Organic farming supports eco-sustenance and farming in harmony with nature. Preservation of soil and crop rotation keep farmland healthy, and chemical abstinence preserves the ecosystem. Wildlife, insects, frogs, birds, and soil organisms are able to play their role in the tapestry of ecology, and we are able to place ours without interference or compromise. You help reduce pollution and protect water and soil. Agricultural chemicals, pesticides, and fertilizer are contaminating our environment, poisoning our precious water supplies and destroying the value of fertile farmland. Certified organic standards do not permit the use of toxic chemicals in farming and require responsible management of healthy soil and biodiversity. According to Cornell entomologist David Pimentel, it is estimated that only 0.1% of applied pesticide reach the target pest. The bulk of pesticide, 99%, is left to impact the environment. You help to preserve the biodiversity. The rampant loss of species occurring today is a major environmental concern. It is estimated that 75% of the genetic diversity of agricultural crops has been lost in the last century. Leaning heavily on one or two varieties of a given food is a formula for devastation. For instance, consider that only a handful of varieties of potato dominate the current marketplace, whereas thousands of varieties were once available. Crop rotation is a simple and effective technique used in organic agriculture to reduce the need for pesticide and improve soil fertility. Most conventional food is also extremely hybridized to produce large, attractive specimens rather than a variety of indigenous strains that are tolerant to regional conditions such as drought and pests. Many organic farms grow an assorted range of food, taking natural elements and time-tested tradition into account. Diversity is critical to survival. You support sustainable and local farming and respect life cycle. Organic food has a reputation to be costly, expensive, but it is because it is a real price. Conventional agriculture is subsidized by the government from taxes. So you think you pay less, but it is because you already pay with the tax. Plus, organic farming grows food that is available at the season. Today, you can go at any time and find the same fruits and vegetables in a supermarket all year long, coming from all over the world. This is not natural at all, and we'll see later why it is all important for our health. So you can understand now that when you go green, when you choose organic, you don't think only about your health. Every time you spend money, every time you buy something, you vote. You say, I agree with this, I support this way of doing. Food is important for you, but it is really important to realize that if you want to live in harmony, you need to live in an environment which is in harmony. And if you want to be healthy, you need to eat food that will give you health and not bring you harm to your body. Let's talk now about fair trade. Fair trade is a social movement whose state goal is to help producers in developing countries achieving better trading conditions and to promote sustainability. Members of the movement advocate that payment of higher price to exporters as well as higher social and environmental standards. The movement focuses in particular on commodities or produce which are typically exported from developing countries to developed countries, but also consumed in domestic market, most notably handicraft, coffee, cocoa, sugar, tea, banana, honey, cotton, wine, fresh fruits, chocolate, flour, gold, and 3D printer filament. The movement seeks to promote greater equity in international trading partnership through dialogue, transparency, and respect. It promotes sustainable development by offering better trading conditions to and securing the right of marginalized producer and worker in developing countries. Again, this is a philosophy of understanding. Oh, sorry, I make a. Sorry. Again, this is a philosophy of understanding that you and others, all others, you and the world are connected. If you care about you, you should care about others. You are a living organism that hosts many smaller organisms, and we are living into much bigger organisms. Harmony is a balance in yourself, between your mind and your body, as well as between all these different levels. Balance is necessarily global. To finish this introduction of the course. We will meet next Wednesday for the next chapter, but in the meanwhile, you'll get a first recipe. The one I give you today is a traditional French preparation, crêpe, a name that I cannot really translate, maybe approximately explained by French-style pancake. I don't know if you have a notebook with you to take notes or something, because maybe for the recipe, you cannot learn it by heart. Or maybe I can post then the recipe on the Facebook group. Yes?
I think you can just post the recipe on the Facebook group.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
perfect.
okay, yeah.
But should I explain you the recipe now, or just I post it on the Facebook later?
Later.
Okay,
later.
only
Okay.
later? So if any of you have any question, you can ask me now. And
Okay, I asked my students. 没有问题要问，因为第一次我怕那个同学还没有习惯，然后所以老师会把一些摘要写下来，我会 po 在那个上面。然后另外 ，sorry, I just try to explain to my students. Just wait a minute.
Okay.
我会把这个录下来，因为我都有录下来，每一次录下来我都会放在那个我们 Facebook 那个 group 上面。然后老师在下面会写一些摘要，还有一些你们可以就是可以参考的资料。那主要是在讲艾维达，艾维达的话，其实亚洲人怎么讲，华人很少人去练，大部分都是西方的人，他们比较有去做研究，所以大部分都是英语的资料，没有什么中文的资料。那所以同学的话，你可能要看英文的。然后另外就是你们在听的时候，比如说现在你听不清楚的话，你回去可以再看那个录影，然后你有问题的话，就是你随时留在那个我们 Facebook 那个 group 上面，然后那个 Caroline 他看到的话，他会回答，好吗？那有没有人想要练习英文的？要不要？有问题？他刚讲很多啊，你们懂啊？他讲到很多东西，像你们有听过 fair trade 吗？什么东西那些，那什么 Ayurveda 什么那一些东西，你们没有听过的话，为什么不问他看看呢？就试着问啊。英语系的、新系的。Okay, wait a second. They have question. Yeah.
我没有问题啊。
什么问题吧？先问一下。
Hi. So sorry you speak too fast, so I just can catch a little. And
speaking too fast?
A little bit, right? 就他讲话太快，对不对？对不对？对，他有点头疼。And so, what's your suggestions for us to start our health diet? The first step for your according to your speech or lecture.
Today was only the introduction. So in the next talks that we will have, I will introduce you to different technique and vision of things. And so you will get how to get all this information. And the last talk that I will give is with all the information that you get, how to start to do something. So if I answer now, I will just give you an answer about, yeah, I will answer this question with the next talk that will come.
还有其他同学吗？还有吗 ？Okay, then. So what time is there? It's 5 o'clock in the morning or 6?
For me?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, it's 1 in the afternoon.
Okay. So I think they have no questions. But I asked them to ask you the question in Facebook. So when you read a question, please answer my students, okay?
Yeah, of course, no problem. It will be easier.
And also I will put a video in Facebook. Alright, okay. So
That's perfect.
So let's call your date finish.
On my side, it's okay. So I think I see you all on next Wednesday.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Bye-bye.
Okay. 好，我关掉。OK。